Chapter 3704. Damn, the Dragon Palace banned the hunting and enslaving of flood dragons a year ago. Anyone who disobeys will be exterminated. Who would have thought that the Dragon Palace would actually do it? At least 5 to 6 high-level races have been exterminated by the Dragon Palace. This time, the Dragon Palace sent out over 200 divine dragons. Didn't you see the scene of those 200 divine dragons flying in the sky? Simply too shocking. Over 200 true dragons, and all of them have the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. The strength of the Dragon Palace is much stronger than we expected. There are over 200 purebred divine dragons, and all of them have the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. This is just the number of purebred divine dragons that the Dragon Palace hasn't shown yet. There should be many more purebred divine dragons. Too strong. The Dragon Palace is too strong. They sent over 200 true dragons with the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign to sweep across the universe. Such strength is invincible to any high-level race in the universe. Following the Dragon Palace's actions, the annihilation of the various races caused a huge uproar in the chaotic continent. The Dragon Palace's strength was domineering. The aura of over 200 purebred divine dragons caused the experts and disciples of the various races to be filled with shock. Especially the over 200 purebred divine dragons with the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. What did that mean? In the past, a race with 20 to 30 third-order universe sovereign experts was considered a top-tier existence among the high-level races. As for the Dragon Palace, they sent over 200 purebred divine dragons with the combat strength of a third-order universe sovereign. These were just purebred divine dragons. The various races in the universe also knew that the Dragon Palace had mutated frost divine dragons, powerful magi, and terrifying spiked dragons. There was also the invincible Dragon King. In addition, the Dragon King had subdued 7 crazy demons in the invincible domain. Every single one of them had the strength of a first-order sovereign realm expert. The bloodline of the Dragon Palace is still too noble. The high-level races can only fight 2 ranks higher than them. Only the mutated races can fight 3 ranks higher than them. However, the experts and disciples of the Dragon Palace can easily fight 3 ranks higher than them. This is also the reason why the Dragon Palace is so terrifying today. This is the glory of a peak race. The Divine Dragon race has risen again. The Divine Dragons cannot be offended. Some experts from the various high-level races exclaimed in their hearts. The current Dragon Palace was no longer a high-level race. It was too easy for the Dragon Palace to annihilate a high-level tribe. Pass down my order. All the powerful disciples of the Green Sky Authentic Sect are forbidden from enslaving and attacking those with the bloodline of the Divine Dragon. Those who violate this rule will be killed without mercy. Pass down my order. Inform all members of the succubus race to not harm anyone with the Divine Dragon bloodline. Anyone who disobeys will be killed. The dense jungle tribe announces that all disciples are prohibited from enslaving or attacking those with the Divine Dragon bloodline. Violators will be killed without mercy. Congratulations to the Dragon Palace for advancing to the pinnacle tribe. Not long after, the patriarchs, leaders and city lords of the powerful high-grade races in the vast Earth continent issued their orders. Some even directly announced on the universe AI that it was forbidden to enslave and attack those with the Dragon God bloodline. Violators would be killed without mercy. He even wished the Dragon Palace to advance to the pinnacle race. With the first race making a statement, more and more races followed suit. The Dragon Palace's momentum had been formed, and its invincible potential had been condensed. They were already standing above the advanced races. The advanced races knew how to please them. Who would have thought that the Dragon Palace had already reached such a stage, and that the Dragon King had already grown to such a stage? At the same time in the Spirit Demon race, the Spirit Demon King looked at the information on the universe AI, and his face revealed a trace of shock. That Dragon King is indeed not simple. He should have obtained the inheritance of a powerful Dragon King of the Divine Dragon race. It is highly possible that it is the inheritance of one of the few Dragon Kings of the Divine Dragon race, or even a few of them. His current strength is much stronger than a first-order sovereign. By the side, the Spirit Demon King's father-in-law, the Black Vulture King, sat on the skeleton throne, and his eyes shone brightly. His current strength might not be much weaker than mine. Father-in-law, I can't be, right? After all, the Dragon King has yet to break through to the universe sovereign realm. How can he be compared to father-in-law? The Spirit Demon King was slightly shocked as he said, I have some understanding of the strength of the crazy demons in the invincible domain. They all have the strength to kill a first-order sovereign, and that Dragon King can kill a crazy demon in an instant. This combat strength is not weaker than an ordinary second-order universe sovereign. The flames in the Black Vulture King's eyes danced as he said, "That Dragon King is already so strong?" The Spirit Demon King's face was filled with shock. "Kiki, the Dragon King is very strong. Our Red Bones is also very strong. The inheritance that Red Bones obtained is very terrifying." The Black Vulture King chuckled as he looked towards the front. Their Ling Red Bones floated in the air. Waves of blood-red energy burned with flames, completely enveloping him. It looked as though he was undergoing nirvana. Ling Red Bones was indeed undergoing nirvana. In less than 1,000 years he would be able to break through to the universe sovereign realm. The most important thing was Ling Red Bones' inheritance. Even the Black Vulture King felt that her inheritance was extremely terrifying. Although the Black Vulture King's strength was not at the peak of the universe sovereigns, he still had the foresight. An inheritance that could make him feel fear, an inheritance that could make the peak race, the skeleton race, feel fear, one could imagine. Just as the great desolate continent's higher-level races were sucking up to the Dragon Palace on the AI. Over at the continental star space, some races were deeply aware of how much they were courting death. In the continental star space, 5th Order and 6th Order Venerables were already considered top-notch battles. And this time they had to face a 3rd Order Universe Sovereign purebred Divine Dragon. No, we are from the continental star space. Your Dragon Palace is from the great desolate continent. You cannot kill us or you will be punished. Within the continental star space's domain, dozens of planets were gathered together. But at this moment all the experts and disciples on the planet were sprawled on the ground, their eyes filled with fear and despair. The Divine Dragon cannot be offended, the dragon's aura cannot be touched, die. A fire Divine Dragon stared coldly at them, slowly raising its dragon claws. Under its dragon's aura, all the experts and disciples on the planet could not move at all. The powerful dragon's aura could even directly crush them to death. Rumble. The fire Divine Dragon raised its dragon claws, directly grabbing towards the planets. In an instant, explosive sounds could be heard. The planets were like balloons crushed by the claw. A race that wantonly bred and enslaved wyverns was directly annihilated. Chapter 3705. Are the experts of the Dragon Palace crazy? They are all divine dragons. How dare they destroy all the races in our starry sky without any scruples? It's too terrifying. That divine dragon destroyed the entire planet with a wave of his dragon claw. The foundation planet of the Chani sect, which they have operated for hundreds of millions of years and paid a huge price to build, and set up countless defenses and attacks, was destroyed by a dragon breath. The experts of the Dragon Palace are too terrifying. Didn't the top races of the Chaotic Continent stipulate that the experts of the Chaotic Continent are forbidden from attacking the experts in our starry sky? How dare the Dragon Palace violate their rules? Is the Dragon Palace courting death? The divine dragons of the Dragon Palace are too ruthless. As long as any race enslaves the divine dragon bloodline, they will kill them all. Just the terrifying dragon power alone is enough to destroy a force. It's simply crushing. A clan can be destroyed with a breath. It's too terrifying. More than a dozen races have been destroyed by the divine dragons. What the Dragon Palace announced a year ago has been accomplished. Those who were lucky enough to survive have completely collapsed this time. It's a battle on a completely different level. Why didn't the experts of the top races of the Chaotic Continent show up? In the starry sky, when the 60 divine dragons flew over from the Dragon Palace, the doomsday of some races had already begun. In the starry sky, many races thought that because of the rules, the experts of the Dragon Palace could not attack them. But now it seemed that they were completely wrong. Not only did the Dragon Palace take action, but they also directly destroyed the races as promised a year ago. In a short period of time, more than a dozen races were destroyed by the divine dragons. A dragon breath, a dragon claw and a dragon tail. They were easily destroyed. At this moment all the experts in the starry sky knew how terrifying the Dragon Palace was, and how terrifying the divine dragons were. The experts who were lucky enough to survive, those who still enslaved the divine dragon bloodline, were extremely pale. Some of them quickly released the enslaved flood dragons. Some of them were wantonly posting messages on the universe AI. The experts of the Dragon Palace broke the rules and asked the experts of the top races to destroy them, asking the top races to protect the weak. One message after another appeared on the universe AI. But soon, a few rather explosive messages appeared in the continent encirclement starry sky. The Dragon Palace made a statement a year ago, but you guys didn't listen to it. You should have already searched for the Dragon Palace's situation at that time. You deserve to be destroyed. Why don't you take a look at the situation in the chaotic continent? Now, all the high-level races in the Great Wilderness continent have been defeated by the Dragon Palace. All of them wish the Dragon Palace to ascend to the pinnacle of races. It won't be long before the Dragon Palace becomes a peak race. Do you think the other peak races will offend the Dragon Palace for you? Furthermore, the Dragon Palace was once a descendant of the Divine Dragon clan. When the Divine Dragon clan was at its peak, who would dare to enslave a sky dragon? Now that the glory of the Divine Dragon has reappeared, we naturally have to restore our dignity. Just wait for death. No one will help you. Now that the experts of the chaotic continent believe that the Dragon Palace is about to become a peak race, the prestige of the future peak race is naturally not something you can provoke. Within the continent encirclement Starry Sky, there were some powerhouses and disciples of some forces that posted messages that attracted a lot of attention. Following which, the experts and disciples of the continent encirclement Starry Sky began to search for information regarding the Dragon Palace and the chaotic continent. When they saw the 243rd Order Universe Sovereigns of the Dragon Palace annihilating the various races on the chaotic continent, they were incomparably shocked. Following which, silence ensued. The Dragon Palace was already invincible within the chaotic continent. What was a small continent encirclement Starry Sky to them? With the terrifying strength and potential of the Dragon Palace, the so-called rules could no longer restrain the Dragon Palace. This was because the Dragon Palace of the Divine Dragon bloodline was about to ascend to the peak once again. Hence, some announcements and prestige of the Dragon Palace naturally could not be violated by the weaker races. Otherwise, where would the prestige of the peak race be? When the Divine Dragon clan was still at its peak, who would dare to enslave a sky dragon and call themselves a dragon knight? It was purely courting death. Now it was merely reverting to the past. Even the Angel clan and the Phoenix clan, who had enmity with the Dragon Palace and Wuxia, did not say anything. This was because although the Dragon Palace had broken the rules this time, according to the rules, the punishment would at most be killing the Divine Dragon that had attacked. As a peak race, it was completely unnecessary for the Dragon Palace to lose some experts in such a way. Even the third prince and the rest were somewhat disdainful. They also had their own pride and unyielding character. If they wanted to attack, they would completely annihilate the Dragon Palace. Since the Angel clan and the Phoenix clan did not say anything, the other peak races would not offend the Dragon Palace. They would not offend a force that had a 99% chance of reaching the peak race. In the end, as the experts of the continent encirclement Starry Sky had expected, the forces that had enslaved the Divine Dragon bloodline were annihilated one by one. In the end, there were no experts from the peak races to stand up for them. This made all the forces of the continent encirclement Starry Sky witness the might of the Dragon Palace once again. The Divine Dragon bloodline and the Dragon Palace had truly risen. In the following time, the forces of the continent encirclement Starry Sky made statements and began to bootlick the Dragon Palace. Wuxia did not pay much attention to this matter. The only thing that made him a little wary was the reaction of the Angel clan and the Phoenix clan. However, they did not respond, which made him heave a sigh of relief. I should be able to calm down for a period of time. Let's go to the land of blood. Wuxia murmured. In the land of blood, the progenitor tree could condense the blood-refining fruit to increase the number of purebred divine dragons in the Dragon Palace. At its peak, the Dragon Palace had millions of purebred divine dragons. Currently, with the existence of the Dragon Transformation Pool, the Dragon Palace could give birth to a large number of peak races. Although the number of purebred divine dragons did not have to reach millions, it should at least reach hundreds of thousands. This was because the mutation of purebred divine dragons was the true strength. Currently, my strength has been enhanced, the Dragon Palace has been upgraded, and the progenitor tree has also been upgraded. The speed of condensing the blood-refining fruit should be much faster. As he spoke, he gave some instructions and flew towards the land of blood. In the past, he could condense 2 blood-refining fruits in a year. Now, he should be able to double that number. 400,000 purebred divine dragons. This should be enough, he thought to himself. Next, the Dragon Palace would probably have to face the peak races. They were the enemies of the Cataclysm. Therefore he had to be fully prepared. Chapter 3706. The speed of the progenitor tree's blood refinement fruit has indeed increased significantly. It's at least doubled. Wuxia stood at the bottom of the blood pool. The roots of the progenitor tree were rooted inside. Wang Xian sensed the speed of the blood refinement fruit's condensation and smiled. He could condense 4 in a year. If he wanted to condense 4 million blood refinement fruits, he would probably need 10,000 years. 10,000 years was neither long nor short. The stronger I am, the more I feel that the progenitor tree is insane. I'm starting to suspect that the divine dragon race and the insect race perished together for this blood refinement fruit. Wang Xian murmured with a smile on his face. The progenitor tree was insane, so insane that it was terrifying. Even an ordinary expert with the progenitor tree could build a pinnacle race as long as he did not die. This was the existence of the heavenly yuan creation level. Time passed. After the 300 divine dragons patrolled the major races, the prestige of the Dragon Palace spread throughout the universe. In the universe, many divine dragon bloodline possessors were freed. No forces dared to kill divine dragon bloodline possessors for no reason. The divine dragon bloodline also rose completely. Peace was restored in the chaotic continent when the sky was split open. The blood refinement fruits condensed one after another, giving birth to purebred divine dragons in the Dragon Palace. Dragon King were about to break through. 8 years later, when Wang Xian was bored and deducing his attack, he suddenly received a message. This was a message from Wuxia. When he saw the message, he was slightly stunned. He moved and returned to the Dragon Palace. Are we about to break through? In the dragon field of the Dragon Palace, Wuxia, Water Demon, Yao Feather, Shirsen, Mingsha, Leishan, and Jitian stood in the middle. Prime Minister Turtle and all the Universe Lord-level disciples of the Dragon Palace had arrived. Breaking through from the Universe Supremacy to the Universe Lord was a metamorphosis for the experts of the pinnacle races. It was also a catastrophe. For the core disciples of the pinnacle races, they could cultivate to the pinnacle of the Universe Supremacy realm without any shackles. However, it was extremely difficult to break through from the pinnacle of the Universe Supremacy realm to the Universe Lord. Many experts of the pinnacle races could not break through their entire lives. Wuxia and Mingsha were experts of the pinnacle races and possessed the legacies of the pinnacle races. Before they met Wang Xian, they would not have the chance to make a breakthrough. Ascending from venerable to sovereign was a qualitative leap for experts of peak races. Similarly, this advancement would be a disaster for all the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace in the future. It was impossible to create a universe ruler with just resources. The experts and disciples of Dragon Palace also needed to comprehend and cultivate by themselves. This time, Wuxia and the others' breakthroughs would be a great experience for the future breakthroughs of the Dragon Palace experts. Greetings, Dragon King. All the disciples of Dragon Palace greeted respectfully when they saw Wang Xian. Wuxia, you guys break through first. Wang Xian waved his hand and smiled at them. It's Dragon King. Wuxia and the others nodded, their faces filled with excitement. The 7 of them looked at each other. Let's break through together. Haha, this time I've waited for more than 10 billion years, more than 10 billion years. Haha, I have also waited for more than 5 billion years. Dark Killer, Wuxia, and the others exclaimed excitedly. They had been trapped at the peak of the universe venerable realm for far too long. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As they spoke, waves of aura soared into the sky. The surrounding disciples of Dragon Palace were taken aback by the majestic and terrifying aura. Even Bei Shuang could only withstand the aura with the revolving frost around him. Their breakthroughs were forcefully made with great strength. This method is not representative. You guys just need to comprehend it. Don't use it as a reference for the future. Wang Xian reminded the disciples of Dragon Palace as he watched the quintuple kill and the others break through. Wuxia and the others' breakthroughs were made with great strength and a strong accumulation of energy. This method was not advisable. In the entire universe, other than Crazy Mo from the Invincible Domain, no one else could achieve such combat strength at the Universe Venerable Realm. The disciples nodded and looked at Wuxia and the others in the dragon field. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Rumble, rumble, rumble. At this time, waves of terrifying and vast energy came from the bodies of Wuxia and the others. The vast energy, with a trace of the aura of the universe and their respective attributes, surged into their bodies. Their bodies began to change qualitatively. Wang Xian looked over with curiosity in his eyes. Various attributes seemed to have come to life and surged into their bodies, transforming and strengthening them from the inside out. Fortunately, Dragon Palace's current level was relatively high, so it could completely block the power of their breakthroughs. Otherwise, the commotion caused by their breakthroughs would have caused great changes in heaven and earth that could have been felt from a radius of trillions of kilometers. Even so, the vast scene of their breakthroughs shocked all the experts of Dragon Palace. The energy entered their bodies and gradually turned into a sphere. The sphere seemed to contain a world. The energy in the world evolved in form as if a universe was forming. The scene in the sphere was different for everyone. Inside Wuxia's sphere, there was a strange darkness and a blurry figure flickered. Inside the sphere of demon wings, a huge demonic beast was born and gradually spread its wings that covered the sky. Inside Lei Shan's sphere there was a world of thunder and lightning. A spot of light shuttled back and forth. All the disciples of Dragon Palace stared at the various visions. These visions could bring them great inspiration. Wang Xian watched quietly as the energy in the sphere finished evolving. Finally, the figures of Wuxia and the others appeared. At this moment, the aura on their bodies had clearly changed. They seemed to be more in tune with the universe and their aura was more elegant. There was no pressure on them, but they had a sense of majesty. This majesty was so majestic that some of the weaker ones did not dare to look at it directly. This was a leap in the level of life. Not bad. Wang Xian looked at them with a smile and nodded his head. Dragon King, we have broken through. Wuxia and the others said to Wang Xian excitedly. Alright. You guys should stabilize your strength in the Dragon Palace first. Don't leave the Dragon Palace for the time being. Wang Xian chuckled and instructed them. The breakthrough of Wuxia and the others meant that Dragon Palace could be promoted to a pinnacle race. However, Wang Xian did not intend to announce it, nor did he intend to promote it to a pinnacle race. He wanted to announce the promotion when there were at least dozens of universe rulers in Dragon Palace. Chapter 3707, It's Dragon King. When Wuxia and the rest heard Wang Xian's words, they answered respectfully. They immediately flew back to their residences. Dragon King, our Dragon Palace has already given birth to a true ruler. We can already ascend to the pinnacle and restore the glory of the Divine Dragon clan. Prime Minister Turtle walked over excitedly and said, It's not a problem for them to become a peak race, but it's still not enough to restore the glory of the Divine Dragon tribe. Let's keep the news of Wuxia and the others' breakthroughs a secret for now. Wang Xian said with a smile. At the side, Prime Minister Turtle nodded. You should have seen Wuxia and the others' breakthroughs. I hope that more and more disciples in our Dragon Palace can break through to the sovereign realm. He looked around and said, All of you will definitely cultivate diligently and strive to break through the shackles. A group of disciples of Dragon Palace who had reached the peak of the venerable realm bowed and said. Wang Xian nodded his head. Currently, the Dragon Palace had over 1,500 Third Order Universe sovereigns. As for those who reached the pinnacle of the Universe Venerable Realm, there were many of them. After all, the Devouring Dragon could only fight 2 levels higher. However, the Devouring Dragon's breakthrough did not have any shackles. At the same time, it was also very troublesome for them to advance. Even though there were no shackles, they needed to devour a sovereign realm expert's god country. Or perhaps it was a supreme treasure of this level. All in all, there were about 1,500 experts. These 1,500 people had already reached the peak. As for how many of them could break through and how long it would take, Wang Xian had no idea. A pinnacle universe venerable would take different amounts of time to break through. Some might be tens of thousands of years old, while others might be hundreds of millions or even billions of years old. Of course, the 1,500 disciples at the peak of the venerable realm in the Dragon Palace could also make a breakthrough in a few years. In any case, he wasn't sure. However, the Dragon Palace had the Dragon Field. In the Dragon Field, all the members of the Dragon Palace would have their power of understanding greatly improved. The effects of the Dragon Field of the Divine Dragon race in the past were not as insane as the effects of this Dragon Palace. Logically speaking, experts of Dragon Palace would have a higher chance of improving if they cultivated in the Dragon Field. The advancement of Wuxia and the rest did not disrupt Wang Xian's plan. He continued to return to the blood pool in the land of Demon Bone and began to condense the blood refinement fruit. As time passed, the number of purebred divine dragons in the Dragon Palace increased from 2,000 to more than 5,000. However, due to the lack of resources, the Dragon Palace did not improve much. One day, 1,000 years later, Wang Xian suddenly received an invitation. The invitation was sent to him by the Spirit Demon King, inviting him to participate in the celebration of his daughter's rebirth. Yes, Ling Honggu had broken through. Over a decade ago, she had completed her breakthrough and become a universe ruler. The Spirit Demon clan had also joined the Skeleton clan. With Ling Honggu's grandfather, the Black Vulture King, around, they naturally joined the Black Vulture King's camp. Now, the Black Vulture King wanted to hold a celebration for Ling Honggu. Wang Xian replied immediately. He was in the land of Demon Bone. The distance from here to the spirit demon clan was very close. The distance was very close, but he was not anxious. Buzz. At the same time, at the location of the Dragon Palace, where the Dragon Queens lived, Lan Qingyue, who was in the midst of her cultivation, suddenly felt a majestic energy surging towards her. Her expression changed and she immediately opened her eyes. Xiao Zhai and Xiao Lan's enormous body appeared in his eyes. In his eyes, Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai exuded a vast and terrifying aura. They seemed to be floating in the ocean with energy tumbling around them. It was a shocking scene. The grayish energy gradually surrounded them, like a huge egg that was undergoing nirvana. In the Dragon Palace, Lan Qingyue's figure was also gradually enveloped by the grayish energy. Such a huge commotion immediately attracted the attention of a group of girls. Guan Shuqing and the rest of the girls flew over and were shocked to see Lan Qingyue, who was enveloped by the energy. This situation is similar to when Wuxia and the rest broke through. Is Qingyue about to break through? It should be Xiao Lan, Xiao Zhai, and Qingyue breaking through after receiving the energy nourishment. Guan Shuqing, Feng Wan, and the rest immediately spoke. They immediately sent the news to Wang Xian. Dear Dragon Empresses, what happened? Prime Minister Turtle sensed the commotion and quickly flew over. Prime Minister Turtle, call Wuxia, Water Demon, and the rest over. See if Qingyue is breaking through. Feng Wan immediately instructed Prime Minister Turtle. Yes, Dragon Queen. Prime Minister Turtle did not dare to delay. He immediately called Wuxia, Water Demon, Mingxia, and the rest over. Currently, the 7 of them were the strongest in the Dragon Palace. Greetings, Dragon Queens. Wuxia and the rest flew over and greeted immediately. Wuxia, take a look. Is Qingyue breaking through? Guan Shuqing quickly asked. Judging from this situation, she should be breaking through. Wuxia and the rest looked over and were shocked. The Blue Dragon Queen is breaking through. This is unbelievable. Water Demon and the rest were a little surprised. Their Dragon Queen broke through just like that? Shuqing, what's going on with Qingyue? Did she break through? At this moment, Wang Xian, who had just received the news, returned immediately. Sensing the terrifying energy, he immediately teleported over. His eyes fell on Lan Qingyue and his eyes sparkled. Xiaoxian, we don't know either. We were cultivating when Qingyue suddenly felt a majestic energy. Moreover, her current situation is similar to when Wuxia and the rest broke through. Guan Shuqing and the rest of the girls said. Don't worry, she's breaking through. Wang Xian looked over and felt that Lan Qingyue's body was undergoing a qualitative change. His eyes sparkled. I didn't expect Xiao Lan and the rest to break through. Wang Xian said. When they came to the interior of the chaotic continent, Xiao Lan and the rest entered the sea of the mountain sea land to train. In just over 1,000 years they actually broke through. This speed was really terrifying. Xiao Lan's breakthrough is reciprocated to Qingyue. This ancient god Kuan breeder is really scary. No wonder he was once besieged. Wang Xian stared at Lan Qingyue. Qingyue is really breaking through? That's so fast. The group of girls looked on in shock. Now, with the huge amount of resources, the girls had reached the peak of the universe supremacy level. Moreover, they had all become purebred divine dragons. However, they felt that they still needed some time and opportunities to break through. They didn't expect Qingyue to break through so quickly. Qingyue is breaking through. Together with Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai, the number of true universe dominators in the Dragon Palace has reached 10. Wang Xian looked on with a smile. Chapter 3708. 10 First Order Sovereigns including Fan Qinglan, Xiao Yu and Bei Shuang. The Dragon Palace had 13 experts that could fight against First Order Sovereigns. Moreover, the 7 crazy demons weren't ordinary First Order Sovereigns. They had reached the pinnacle of the First Order Sovereign Realm. The hurdle to advance from First Order Sovereign Realm to Second Order Sovereign Realm was lower than Supremacy Realm. With the Dragon Field in the Dragon Palace, it wouldn't be a problem for them to advance. It wouldn't take long for them to complete the breakthrough. In front, Lan Qingyue's advancement was gradually completed. She opened her eyes and looked at Wang Xian and the rest with a smile. Xiaoxian. Lan Qingyue walked over and greeted with a smile. Congratulations. Wang Xian smiled and nodded. Seems like Xiao Lan and the rest have all broken through. Yeah. Lan Qingyue nodded. Xiao Lan and the rest have broken through in the Sea of Mountains. Now they can go deeper into the Sea of Mountains. Alright, tell them to be careful. The Sea of Mountains is a dangerous place. Wang Xian nodded. Congratulations, Qingyue. Sister Qingyue, isn't your breakthrough a little too fast? At the side, a few girls surrounded him and said enviously. You guys will break through soon. I'm just lucky. Lan Qingyue said humbly. She was the ancient god Kuan breeder. Her speed of improvement depended on the speed of the Kuan she reared. Xiaolan's improvement depended on Lan Qingyue's. As for Lan Qingyue, her improvement was unhindered. It wasn't without reason that the ancient god Kuan breeder profession was annihilated by the pinnacle races. In his opinion, Wang Xian should have obtained this opportunity because the divine dragon race had left it on Earth. Just like the divine dragon system, the ancient god Kuan breeder's legacy, the item that gave birth to the bone dragon, and the 5 elements origin source should have been left behind by the divine dragon race on Earth. Over the next few days, Wang Xian played with Lan Qingyue and the girls. 3 days later, he looked at the time and left the Dragon Palace. The Spirit Demon Clan's invitation letter and Ling Honggu's celebration hall, he still had to attend. The distance between the Dragon Palace and the land of Devil Bone was still very far. After passing through several teleportation formations, Wang Xian arrived at the land of Devil Bones after more than 3 months. Devil? As soon as he arrived at the land of Demon Bone, he saw streaks of black light soaring into the sky from the direction of the Spirit Demon Clan. There were 4 beams of black light that seemed to connect the earth and the void. From afar it was a magnificent sight. It's not the aftermath of a battle. Wang Xian sensed for a moment before flying over quickly. With a speed comparable to a third-order universe sovereign, Huang Xiaolong arrived at the spirit demon race's territory in less than a few minutes. This is. Hovering in front of the spirit demon tribe, Wang Xian stared ahead with glistening eyes. A sea of skeletons, a sea of densely packed skeletons. They were all skeletons arranged neatly. Countless skeletons surrounded and guarded the entire spirit demon race. This sea of skeletons is really terrifying. This should be the Black Vulture King's skeleton army. Wang Xian guessed. Wang Xian had seen the Black Vulture King before. Now that he thought about it, he should have the strength of a second-order universe sovereign. However, the experts of the skeleton race were usually several times stronger than those of the same level. Therefore, the Black Vulture King wasn't weak. However, the current Wang Xian was confident that he was stronger than the Black Vulture King. Dragon King of Dragon Palace, welcome. Wang Xian flew towards the spirit demon race and took out the invitation letter when he saw the skeleton birds circling in the sky. Ka, Dragon King of Dragon Palace, please? A skeleton bird flew over, landed below Wang Xian and spoke. Wang Xian nodded his head and stood on the skeleton bird. The skeleton bird spread its wings and flew further in. Wang Xian saw a tall platform in the depths of the forest. There were many skeletons standing on the platform. The combat strength of the skeletons here was above the universe sovereign level. Among them, Wang Xian could sense the aura of hundreds of first-order universe sovereign skeletons, as well as stronger auras. In front of the platform there were seats high above. Some of the seats were already occupied by skeletons. Sweeping his gaze across, Wang Xian saw familiar figures. Black Vulture King and the Spirit Demon King. The Black Vulture King sat in the middle while the Spirit Demon King stood beside him. Welcome, Dragon King. The Spirit Demon King, Black Vulture King and the rest greeted Wang Xian with smiles. The Black Vulture King also stood up with a smile. Beside the Black Vulture King there were also a few tall skeletons. There were golden skeletons and black skeletons. They looked at Wang Xian with the ghostly fire dancing in their eyes. Black Vulture King, Spirit Demon King. Wang Xian landed in front of them and cupped his fists with a smile. You're too kind. You've grown to the point where I have to look up to you. The Spirit Demon King immediately replied with a smile. Redbone and I are friends. Let's call him Uncle Spirit Demon. Wang Xian smiled. He opened his mouth and said, Haha, great. The Spirit Demon King smiled happily and his face was filled with excitement. Because of his daughter, his status had risen tremendously. Redbone is still inside. He'll come out later. Dragon King, take a seat. The Black Vulture King gestured with a smile. Sure, I didn't expect Redbone to break through so quickly. Wang Xian sat beside the Black Vulture King and replied politely. It's all thanks to you, Dragon King. The Black Vulture King laughed. This Dragon King is sitting beside the Black Vulture King, side by side with our king? Similarly, there were also skeleton clan powerhouses seated in the lower seats. On the stage, there were more than 100 first-order sovereign realm experts from the skeleton race. At the highest seats there were 10. Excluding Wang Xian and the Black Vulture King, there were already 4 seats occupied by skeleton kings. Their auras were no weaker than the Black Vulture King. Clearly, those who could sit in this row were all second-order universe sovereigns. The fact that Wang Xian could sit there surprised some of the skeleton clan experts. They had naturally heard of the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. He was currently in the limelight in the chaotic continent. The Dragon Palace was also known as the Pinnacle Clan of the future. The strength of the Dragon King was unparalleled in the entire invincible domain. His influence and strength were extremely strong. But to them this was merely strength. To the high-level clans, it was an invincible existence. To the Skeleton Clan it was just SOSO. They were experts from the Pinnacle clans. When they saw the Dragon King sitting together with the Black Vulture King, they were slightly surprised. Chapter 3709. Given the Dragon King's strength, he's not qualified to sit with our king. Although the Dragon King is invincible in the invincible domain, there are no universe lords there. I heard that the Dragon King and Black Vulture King's granddaughter, Princess Ling Honggu, are on good terms. Perhaps that's the reason. In addition, the Dragon King is much stronger than a First Order Universe Lord. Below, some skeletons discussed in secret. The skeleton race valued the strong as the king. They were all subordinates of Black Vulture King. Since Black Vulture King didn't say anything, their king didn't either. Naturally, they couldn't say anything. This must be the Dragon King. The Dragon Palace's battle record is pretty impressive. At the side, a skeleton looked at Wang Xian and spoke with a smile. I'm flattered. I can't be compared to the seniors here. Wang Xian smiled and cupped his fists at them. Dragon King, you're too humble. Given your potential, it won't be long before you surpass us. Black Vulture King smiled and introduced, Come Dragon King, let me introduce to you. This is King Babak, this is King Kushan, this is King Yanma, and this is King Xiushi. These are my friends. Greetings everyone. Wang Xian cupped his fists at them. I'm looking forward to another pinnacle race in the universe. I'm also looking forward to reaching the Universe Lord realm. King Yanma smiled at Wang Xian and said, they were friends of Black Vulture King and would naturally give him some face. Wang Xian had a simple conversation with them. As he swept his gaze across the surroundings, he was a little surprised by the skeleton experts in the field. The skeleton race was a pinnacle race born in this cataclysm. But with just Black Vulture King calling some friends and some skeleton kings, there were more than 100 universe lords here. This shocked him. How could the skeleton race have so many sovereigns? This made him feel strange and surprised. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Black Vulture King, you just have a granddaughter who has advanced to the Universe Lord realm. Why are you here? TSK. At this moment, an imposing aura and a voice came from behind. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes flickered. This was a group of over 30 skeleton kings. The 4 leading skeleton kings were all second-order universe sovereigns. The one who spoke was a skeleton king with a long tail that looked like a lizard. His entire body was blood red and filled with a berserk aura. Its entire body was like a blood-red metal, revealing a sharp edge. The 3 skeleton kings beside him also had powerful auras. Behind them was a group of First-Order Sovereign Realm skeleton kings. Another 30 or so sovereigns arrived. Lizard King, I'm very happy that my granddaughter has broken through. If you have any grandchildren who have broken through, you can also invite me. The Black Vulture King stood up and laughed heartily. The Lizard King laughed coldly. It's just one more ruler. I'm not that bored. I heard that your granddaughter, Black Vulture King, has obtained a powerful inheritance. Looks like her future potential is not simple. We'll have to witness it later. Beside the Lizard King, a Skeleton King said with a smile. All right. The Black Vulture King nodded. The 4 Skeleton Kings flew over. Wang Xian could tell that the Black Vulture King and the Lizard King did not see eye to eye. Clearly they had some grudges. But for some reason he was invited over. He did not understand the rules of the skeleton race. Yanma King, Xiushi King, you old guys are here too. The Lizard King came to the side and swept his gaze across the skeleton kings beside the Black Vulture King. Of course we're here. Yanma King replied plainly. The Lizard King laughed heartily and sat on the throne. He suddenly turned his head and looked at Wang Xian. You haven't broken through to the Universe Sovereign Realm? Dragon King of Dragon Palace. Wang Xian looked at him and cupped his fists. Dragon King of Dragon Palace? I've heard of it. The Lizard King's eyes flickered with ghostly fire as he looked at the Black Vulture King. He spread his arms on the throne and said, Black Vulture King, don't let a random brat sit beside us. He's not qualified and strong enough. Upon hearing him, the Black Vulture King looked at him and said, Lizard King, this is my territory. I'll call the shots. It's your territory, yes. But if any one of you can sit beside me, that would be disrespect to me. The Lizard King said plainly as he wrapped his fingers on the throne. All right, Lizard King. Today is my granddaughter's birthday celebration. The Black Vulture King lowered his voice and said, Did I say anything wrong? The Lizard King looked at him before sweeping his gaze across the Skeleton Kings beside him and asked with a smile. The Lizard King is right. A Skeleton King chimed in as he looked at Wang Xian. Wang Xian sat there and raised his eyebrows. He placed his hands on the throne and looked at the Lizard King. Lizard King, do you have a problem with me? Oh. Upon hearing Wang Xian's question, the ghostly fire in the Lizard King's eyes became even more intense as he stared at Wang Xian. If you have a problem, you can tell me, Lizard King. Wang. As soon as Wang Xian finished his sentence, his figure and the throne disappeared instantly. The Lizard King narrowed his eyes when he saw Wang Xian disappear. Today is a friend's birthday celebration. Let's celebrate. A voice suddenly sounded from the right side. In the next moment, a wine glass floated in front of the Lizard King. It was filled with wine. Wang Xian appeared 1 meter away from the right side of the Lizard King. He raised his wine glass and extended his hand to the Lizard King with a smile. The ghostly fire in the Lizard King's nostrils dimmed instantly. He lifted his tail slightly and stared at Wang Xian with caution and shock. The wine glass in front of him moved slightly and came before him. The Lizard King looked over and clenched his fist slightly. A surge of energy covered the wine glass. A formless resistance began. Haha, no wonder you're the Dragon King who can lead the divine dragon race back to the peak. A second later, the Lizard King laughed out loud. He took the wine glass and drank it directly. Lizard King, you're flattering me. Wang Xian smiled. He raised his wine glass and drank it. His figure and the throne disappeared again and returned to the previous position. Seeing this scene, the surrounding Skeleton Kings and their subordinates froze. Even the Black Vulture King was shocked. Just now, when Wang Xian suddenly appeared beside the Lizard King, they didn't notice. But when he returned to his original position, they were all looking at him. However, they only saw a blurry shadow flashing by. What did this mean? It meant that the Dragon King's speed was much faster than theirs. In fact, he wasn't even on the same level as them. For the convenience of reading next time, you can click on the collection button below to record this time. A throne can't be done casually? You can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. Chapter 37:10. This Dragon King isn't any weaker than us. In fact, he might even be stronger. The degree of his mutation would rank him in the top 3 even at the peak of the Divine Dragon tribe. On the platform of the Spirit Demon tribe, King Black Vulture, King Lizard, King Yanma, and the rest of the 9 Skeleton Kings looked at Wang Xian in shock. Even King Black Vulture, who had some understanding of Wang Xian, was shocked. This terrifying speed was truly impossible for them to guard against. Moreover, they were all second-order universe sovereigns. Naturally, they saw Wang Xian and King Lizard playing with wine cups. Both sides were transferring energy to the wine cups. King Lizard was clearly not gaining the upper hand. In fact, he was at a disadvantage. As a result, he drank all the wine in the cup. This caused them to be extremely shocked. This Dragon King wasn't simple. He's indeed the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace to be able to lead the Dragon Palace to this stage. Impressive, impressive. King Shushan looked at Wang Xian and couldn't help but exclaim. He picked up the wine cup beside him and raised it to Wang Xian. Compared to all the Skeleton Kings, I still have a long way to go. Seeing King Shushan's benevolent act, Wang Xian poured a cup of wine and raised it to him with a smile. Haha, the Divine Dragon tribe might really return to its peak in the hands of the Dragon King in the future. King Yanma and the rest laughed and picked up their wine cups. They had a closer relationship with the Black Vulture King. However, they did not take Wang Xian too seriously just now. Merely nodding his head was already enough for them. However, Wang Xian had shown his strength to be on par with them. This made them acknowledge Wang Xian's strength. That was why they were so polite. Wang Xian smiled at them. Who would have thought that the Dragon King's strength would rise to such a terrifying level when he was weaker than me 2,000 years ago? The Spirit Demon King said with a sigh. I'm just relying on my powerful bloodline. Wang Xian replied humbly. His speed of improvement was indeed terrifying, even among the peak races. However, everything made sense. After all, the disciples of the peak races didn't have the shackles of realms when they were below the ruler realm. Hence, they could break through faster. The future is really the world of you youngsters. The Black Vulture King looked at Wang Xian, smiled, and instructed the Spirit Demon King beside him. The Spirit Demon King nodded and flew toward a building at the back. My granddaughter is about to come out. The Black Vulture King looked into a building in front and said to the group of skeleton kings beside him. As the Lizard King had been suppressed by Wuxia, it kept a low profile and sat there in silence. Bus. At this time Ling Honggu, who was wearing a red dress and surrounded by blood-red flames, flew out of the building. She was dressed in red and had long flowing hair. There was even a flame symbol on her forehead. His pure white arms made him look like a disciple of the skeleton clan. However, the energy contained within its body made one's heart palpitate. When Wang Xian saw Ling Honggu, he sized him up with flickering eyes. Ling Honggu, who had inherited Queen Scarlet's legacy, had become even more powerful after her breakthrough. She was even more of a goddess. It gave people the feeling that they were above the 9 heavens. Black Vulture King, is this your granddaughter who just broke through? The energy in her body is not simple. The Shushan King looked at Ling Honggu and asked the Black Vulture King. The other 7 skeleton kings were also shocked as they looked at the Black Vulture King. Haha, my granddaughter has inherited a powerful legacy. Be it in terms of future potential or combat strength of the same level, we can't be compared to her. The Black Vulture King said proudly. No wonder the Black Vulture King mobilized so many people for your granddaughter's breakthrough. You're really lucky. One of the skeleton kings said with a tinge of envy in his eyes. Naturally, they could tell that Ling Honggu's body was unusual. They could even feel the threat from Ling Honggu, who had just broken through. This was undoubtedly terrifying. It was comparable to the mutated existences of their skeleton clan. Greetings, grandfather and fellow skeleton kings. Ling Honggu flew over, lifted his head, and cupped his fists at the Black Vulture King and the rest. When he saw Wang Xian, he revealed a smile. Wang Xian nodded at him with a smile. Haha, great. When the Black Vulture King saw Ling Honggu, he stood up with a smile. 3 claws, fate to awe, you guys go over. It's the Black Vulture King. Below, a dozen First-Order Sovereign Realm skeleton kings flew to the back of Ling Honggu and lowered their heads slightly. Not long ago my granddaughter Ling Honggu broke through. I'm very happy. In this grand ceremony I'll also officially announce something. Other than me in the Black Vulture King's bloodline, Honggu will be our leader. In addition, 3 claws, fate to awe, I'll tell you clearly that in the future Honggu's potential will be much stronger than mine. Her future path will be longer than mine. Among you, you can choose to submit to Honggu now and treat her as your king. The Black Vulture King stood there and said loudly. His words caused the group of skeleton kings to be slightly shocked. In the skeleton clan, transferring one's subordinates to Ling Honggu was something that would not be done unless one was a close relative. Of course, it would not be that easy to transfer one's subordinates to one's own kin. This would require one to have the strength to make them submit. 3 of you come out and spar with Honggu. Don't worry, the Black Vulture King ordered. The Black Vulture King's subordinates looked at each other. It was obvious that they had some understanding of this matter. They also knew that their king placed great importance on Ling Honggu. The 3 of you will challenge Her Highness Princess Ling Honggu. The 3 skeleton kings walked out and bowed towards Ling Honggu as they spoke. All right. Ling Honggu looked over and nodded his head. His figure flashed and he immediately flew into the air. Your Highness, please excuse us. The 3 skeleton monarchs moved and immediately floated around the red spirit bone. Make your move, you won't be able to break through my defense. Ling Honggu looked at them and waved his arm. The red dress on his body slowly turned blood red as it swayed around him. Ancient withering. Skeleton corrode. Ghost Valley kill. The 3 skeleton kings felt the powerful pressure coming from Ling Honggu's body and did not hold back. They directly launched their strongest attack. Countless dried bone spears, terrifying skulls, and sinister ghost valleys directly attacked Ling Honggu. Bloodsea devour. Ling Honggu looked over and waved his arm. The surrounding blood-red dress directly met the attack. In the air, the blood-red dress turned into a blood sea and instantly melted the attacks of the 3 skeleton kings. Her blood-red dress swayed in the air and instantly attacked. Chapter 37:11. Huh? What a strange blood sea. It can actually melt and devour the attacks of the 3 skeleton kings. Such powerful strength. She has such terrifying combat strength just after her breakthrough. No wonder the Black Vulture King said that his granddaughter's future potential is higher than his. As the battle broke out, Ling Honggu easily melted and devoured the attacks of the 3 skeleton kings. The blood-red sea of blood continued to attack forward. As for Ling Honggu, she had completely merged into the Blood Sea and could not be seen at all. Princess Ling Honggu is so strong. Indeed. This is not a battle of the same level. The three skeleton kings are not Princess Ling Honggu's strength at all. All the skeletons in the surroundings looked at this scene with bewilderment on their faces. Wang Xian looked over. Ling Honggu's strength wasn't something the First Order Sovereign Realm Skeleton King could compare to. Even if it was 1 against 3, she could easily annihilate them. Even if Ling Honggu's strength was not as strong as the mutated Divine Dragon, it was not too far off. Most importantly, her inheritance had not been completely integrated. Once it was integrated, she should be comparable to an existence like the mutated Divine Dragon. Swish swish swish. In the battle above, strips of blood-red cloth strangely flew out from 3 directions, entangling the 3 skeleton kings. The 3 skeleton kings' expressions changed as they tried to dodge and block. However, the strange power of the Blood Sea made it impossible for them to resist. We admit defeat. Princess Ling Honggu's strength is really terrifying. The 3 skeleton kings were slightly shocked as they admitted defeat. As the 3 skeleton kings finished their words, the blood-red Blood Sea and energy disappeared, revealing Ling Honggu's figure. Ah, great. The Black Vulture King saw it and said happily, "Among you, are there any who are willing to follow Honggu? We are willing to follow Princess Ling Honggu and serve Princess Ling Honggu in the future. We are willing to follow Princess Ling Honggu." Soon, 5 skeleton kings walked out from the Black Vulture King's underlings and knelt down. "Sure, Honggu. They will follow you and fight for you in the future." The Black Vulture King saw it and nodded with a smile. He looked at the army in front and said, "In addition, the Black Shark Army will follow Honggu from now on. She lives, you live. If she dies, you die." Yes, greetings, Spirit Red Bone Queen. The entire Black Shark Corps was made up of powerful skeletons. There were 100,000 of them, but they were all elites. They immediately knelt down and said, "The Black Vulture King really dotes on his granddaughter, to actually give her such power." The skeleton kings in the surroundings looked on in shock. Putting aside the fact that the 5 skeletons were First Order sovereigns, they were extremely powerful. At the same time, they had their own army. In addition to the powerful Black Shark Legion, this force was very terrifying. "Hee, Black Vulture King, you must have called us here to ask for gifts, right?" "Hee, I have 8 gold tier warriors here, I'll give them to your granddaughter," a skeleton king said with a smile. With a wave of his arm, 8 Third Order Universe sovereigns appeared in front of Ling Honggu. "I have some toys here." The other skeleton kings also waved their arms and gave out some gifts. As the Black Vulture King watched, a smile appeared on his face. "Ha ha ha ha, good, come, Red Bones, thank those old fellows." The Black Vulture King happily waved at Ling Honggu. Ling Honggu immediately flew over and expressed her gratitude to the skeleton kings. "Congratulations, I happen to have a treasure that you can use." Wang Xian looked at Ling Honggu. With a wave of his palm, a flaming armor appeared in front of him and flew towards her. "Huh." Ling Honggu was taken aback when she saw it. The Black Vulture King and the surrounding skeleton kings were astonished. Innate cardinal treasure. This was an innate cardinal treasure. Even ordinary sovereigns did not have an innate cardinal treasure. There were not many innate cardinal treasures in the universe, especially those that corresponded to one's elemental attribute. There were even fewer innate cardinal treasures that he could use. As for the innate cardinal treasure armor that Wang Xian handed over, it was obviously a defensive treasure. As long as one was a fire elemental expert, they could use it. Such a valuable treasure is given to him directly. It seems like the Dragon King has a good relationship with the Black Vulture King's granddaughter. The skeleton kings thought to themselves, "Wang Xian, this is too valuable." Ling Honggu's jaw dropped when she saw it. "Take it. I've obtained more than 10 innate cardinal treasures in the invincible domain." Wang Xian smiled. He had obtained more than 10 innate cardinal treasures in the entire invincible domain. Although he could use every elemental attribute, too many of them were of little value to him. As for the experts of the Dragon Palace, it was the best choice for them to nurture their own Dragon Balls. "Great." Ling Honggu smiled at him and put it away. Hee. The Spirit Devil King couldn't help but laugh when he saw this. Now, Ling Honggu not only had a powerful grandfather, but he was also on good terms with the Dragon King. With these 2 powerful backers, he was also very excited. The Black Vulture King smiled when he saw Ling Honggu keeping it. There were few relationships between experts, but he was very happy to see this scene. In his opinion, the potential of the Dragon King was much stronger than his granddaughter. Ling Honggu saluted the skeleton kings one by one. After dozens of minutes, the Black Vulture King waved his arm and they came to a palace. There were 11 chairs in the palace. Obviously they were for Wang Xian, Ling Honggu and the skeleton kings. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly when he saw this scene. Our Hellbone King has sent news that the family channel is about to open. Let's discuss about entering. The Black Vulture King looked at them and said directly, "Her?" Wang Xian was shocked when he heard the sudden words of the Black Vulture King. "Dragon King, you haven't heard about this yet. However, it won't be long before the entire chaotic continent knows about it." The Black Vulture King said to Wang Xian when he saw his shocked expression. "World Channel? Universe World Channel? From our 9-source universe to other universes?" Wang Xian asked in surprise. "Seems like you know something, Dragon King." This time, the World Channel was opened by the giant beasts of the mountains and seas. They were also the ones who opened the door to their hometown to the world of the giant beasts, which is also the Starry Sky universe. The Black Vulture King continued to explain to Wang Xian. Starry Sky universe? Wang Xian nodded his head slightly. He had learned a little about the Starry Sky universe from the Void Pagoda. The Starry Sky universe was the universe where the giant beasts of the Starry Sky were born. Speaking of which, the giant beasts of the 9-source universe were considered outsiders. As for the reason, he wasn't sure. However, he should be able to ask the Black Vulture King this time. To understand the secrets of the universe. Chapter 37:12. The opening of the World Passage is both an opportunity and a crisis for us. The Dark Bone King has ordered all of us to enter. The Starry Sky universe is rumored to be very strong. We need to be prepared. Whether we work together or act alone, we have to discuss it. The Tiger King looked at them and said, "We will definitely be suppressed if we enter another universe. Besides, we can't return to our own holy kingdom instantly. If we die, we might really die. It's very dangerous." A Skeleton King said with a slight frown. "It is indeed dangerous, but that is the Starry Sky universe. That is the world where the giant beasts of the Starry Sky are born. The resources there are much more than in our 9 Origins universe." The Lizard King said plainly, his eyes shining. "We can work together and enter. If we work together, you have to put aside your grudge with the Black Vulture King. Besides, we need to practice. After all, we will be entering another universe and a very powerful one at that." A Skeleton King looked at them and said, "Sure." The Black Vulture King glanced at the Lizard King and replied in a low voice. The 9 Skeleton Kings were discussing. Wang Xian listened quietly at the side. From their conversation he also learned some information. The Black Vulture King and the others were subordinates of the Dark Bone King. When the World Passage opened, the Dark Bone King allowed them to enter the Starry Sky universe. If they entered the other universe, they would be rejected by the other universe. Their strength would be suppressed and they could not be teleported back instantly. If they died there, unless they had a special universal treasure, they would really die. It was very dangerous. But at the same time, the Starry Sky universe was also a huge treasure to them. There were much fewer living beings in the Starry Sky universe than in the 9 Origins universe. That was the home of the giant beasts of the Starry Sky, which also meant that the resources there were very rich. Some treasures might be able to help experts break through the shackles easily, or even modify their own bloodlines. After all, the bloodline abilities and special bodies of the giant beasts of the Starry Sky were too powerful. Wang Xian listened to their discussion, and a thoughtful look appeared on his face. The cataclysm will arrive in a few billion years. When that time comes, it will be truly tragic. Therefore, the sudden opening of the World Passage is an opportunity for our 9 Origins universe. When that time comes, the experts of our peak races will probably let the experts and disciples of the advanced races enter, in order to obtain more experts and better deal with the cataclysm. The Black Vulture King spoke. Upon hearing this, Wang Xian's eyes flickered. "Let's go get ready first and then we'll gather at Lord Dark Bone King's place." The Lizard King glanced at them and said, "All right." The group of Skeleton Kings nodded and gestured to the Black Vulture King before leaving. As Wang Xian watched them leave, his gaze fell on the Black Vulture King. Dragon King, do you have a lot of doubts?" Black Vulture King looked at Wang Xian and asked with a smile. "Indeed, Black Vulture King, there are many things that I'm not clear about from your conversation." Wang Xian nodded his head. "It's normal that you don't know. Regarding the cataclysm and the cosmos, not even the disciples of the peak races know anything about it. Only those who have advanced to the sovereign realm are qualified to know about it. The Black Vulture King smiled and continued, with the Dragon King's current strength, you are qualified to know about it. Regarding the cataclysm, rather than calling it a cataclysm, it would be better to call it a great war. A great war between the various universes. Every great war is a cleansing and reincarnation of the various universes. War. Grandfather, why are the various universes fighting? Ling Honggu asked curiously from the side. Because of resources. The Black Vulture King answered, the Nine Origins universe isn't the only universe. There are other universes. Every 30 billion years, the various universes will get closer to each other, and the universe passageways will appear. Once the passageways open, a great war will break out. In some universes, there are terrifying existences that are bloodthirsty and kill crazily. In some universes, they can teleport and are the greatest enemies of our Nine Origins universe. In the Void universe and the Starry Sky universe, the Starry Sky beasts are also bloodthirsty. They devour flesh and blood to enhance themselves. During the period when the various universes are getting closer, it will basically be a bloodbath. Sometimes all living beings in the entire universe will be massacred. We can only wait for the various universes to separate and give birth to living beings after some time. However, the good thing is that the strength of our Nine Origins universe is not bad. In the recent 2 cataclysm, several peak races have survived. However, the chances of the weaker races and living beings surviving are much lower. As the Black Vulture King spoke, Wang Xian, Ling Honggu and the rest were shocked. The entire universe will be massacred? What level of war is this? Is it that tragic? Wang Xian asked in surprise. The Black Vulture King nodded his head. According to the records, it is very tragic. Before the last cataclysm, 5 peak races were annihilated. Our skeleton race was only born in this era. However, our skeleton king is an existence that survived the last cataclysm. Grandfather, can't we just hide and not participate in the war? Ling Honggu asked doubtfully. It's useless. The weak will die. Take our enemies, the experts from the Void universe for example. When they enter our universe they can teleport. There is no place for you to hide. Some Starry Sky beasts also have terrifying abilities. In another universe there is a race called the Ghost Race. They can't be killed or destroyed. They can only be suppressed. This race can sense the location of living beings. The Black Vulture King shook his head. Can't be killed or destroyed. Ling Honggu's eyes widened in shock. You can say that. Of course, there is a way to kill them, and that is the Heavenly Yuan creation treasure. The Black Vulture King said and shook his head. However, there are only a few of such treasures in a universe. There is actually such a terrifying race. Wang Xian clicked his tongue. Yes, no expert can guarantee that they can survive the cataclysm. Even the peak races don't have 100% chance of surviving. The Black Vulture King nodded his head. Black Vulture King, the skeleton race seems to be very strong now. Wang Xian said to him. Ah, indeed. Although the skeleton race has only made a breakthrough in this era, we have inherited powerful abilities. In the last cataclysm, countless experts turned into skeletons. The skeleton race was born from skeletons and condensed power from corpses. This is the greatest advantage of the skeleton race. In the last cataclysm, some corpses and skeletons made us stronger. The skeleton race was born in death and war. The Black Vulture King laughed heartily and said. Chapter 37:13. The skeleton race was born in this era. They relied on the countless corpses from the previous cataclysm to form the current pinnacle race. It was also because of this that the skeleton race produced a large number of experts. According to the Black Vulture King, the skeleton race had the most universe rulers among all the pinnacle races. No other pinnacle races dared to belittle them. Not even those pinnacle races that had survived 1 or 2 cataclysm. Due to their size and physique, the cosmic beasts can slowly adapt to any environment. Now, they can be found in any universe and will gradually evolve and mutate in this universe. Some of the cosmic beasts in our 9-source universe have already developed intelligence. The real cosmic beasts in the starry universe do not have intelligence. They only hunt, eat, reproduce and sleep. This time the channel was opened because of a few pinnacle cosmic beasts in the mountains and seas, Hun Dun, Fei Lian, Ba Wei, Swan and I, and Su Hao. They used their terrifying strength and treasures to open up the world channel. These cosmic beasts want to return to their own universe. After the universe channel is opened, the starry universe is a treasure to us. However, the strength of the starry universe is stronger than our 9-source universe. There will be great risks in entering. The Black Vulture King continued to explain to Wang Xian. Thank you, Black Vulture King, for the information. Wang Xian cupped his hands and thanked the Black Vulture King. This information is not too confidential. The universe channel will be opened in 1,000 years. When the time comes, the pinnacle races will spread the news. By then, any disciple of the experts in the Nine-Source universe will be able to enter the starry universe. Dragon King, be careful if you go. The Black Vulture King reminded with a smile. Wang Xian nodded. Grandfather, are there really many treasures there? I'll go too. Ling Honggu looked at the Black Vulture King and asked. Can go? Although it's dangerous there? Similarly, the opportunities are strong. The Black Vulture King nodded. Of course. Most importantly, Honggu, you have the resurrection fruit that the Dragon King gave you. As he spoke, he looked at Wang Xian. Can't you return to your own holy kingdom in another universe? This also caused many life-saving treasures to lose their effectiveness. Dragon King, you gave Honggu that soul-returning fruit that you auctioned last time? But it's useful. It's a rare life-saving treasure. Although I'll need to cultivate again, I'll be able to survive. Oh really? I obtained quite a few of these treasures back then. I can give 2 to you, Black Vulture King. Wang Xian said. His palm moved. 2 soul-returning embryo fruits appeared in front of him. There's no need? I bought a few at the last auction. It's enough. The Black Vulture King was a little tempted, but he still rejected it. 1 or 2 of these fruits were enough. Wang Xian nodded his head and kept it. Wang Xian, will you go to the Starry Sky universe? Ling Honggu looked at Wang Xian. He asked. Of course I will go. Wang Xian nodded his head. At present, it's very difficult to obtain a large amount of resources in the universe. The Starry Sky universe is a good choice. That's right. Our 9 Essences universe has been around for more than 20 billion years, and many of the treasures have been taken by the most powerful races. It's already very difficult to obtain large amounts of resources. The Starry Sky universe is a land of opportunity. The Black Vulture King nodded his head and said. Wang Xian also nodded his head silently. After returning from the invincible domain, the strength of the Dragon Palace had been greatly improved. Currently, if he wanted to improve so quickly, he only knew of one place. The land of mountains and seas. Other than the land of mountains and seas, the other treasure lands and major resources had been taken by the most powerful races. It would be very difficult for him to obtain a large amount of resources. However, the land of mountains and seas had powerful starry sky beasts, and it was also a huge risk. Now that the world passage was open, the Starry Sky universe was a very good place for Wang Xian. At that time, not only him, but the experts of the Dragon Palace could also enter the Starry Sky universe. Dragon King, if you're going, you should be careful. You offended experts from the Phoenixes and the Angel Folk. Back in the 9 Essences universe, because of the rules and the fact that you had the help of the Siddhi, the Phoenixes and the Angel Folk didn't dare to send experts to make a move against you. But in the Starry Sky universe, things might be different. This time, there will be a large number of experts and disciples from the powerful races entering the Starry Sky universe. If they meet you, they will definitely attack you. Be careful. The Black Vulture King reminded him. I'll be careful. Wang Xian nodded as his eyes sparkled. The angel race had tried to eliminate him time and time again. The Phoenix race's attack in the invincible domain had pushed them into a situation where they would fight to the death. If he met the experts and disciples of the 2 races in the Starry Sky universe, even if they did not attack Wang Xian would still attack them. As long as he met the experts and disciples of the angel race and the Phoenix race, he would try his best to eliminate them. At that time, it was still uncertain who would be killed. Alright. Dragon King, why don't you stay with the spirit demon race for a few days? I have to return to my own territory to settle some matters. The Black Vulture King smiled at him. Wang Xian nodded. Wang Xian, why don't we go to the Starry Sky universe together? After the Black Vulture King left, Ling Honggu looked at Wang Xian and invited him. I still want to act on my own. Wang Xian rejected after thinking for a while. His current strength and speed were much stronger than Ling Honggu. It would be better for him to act on his own. Alright then. Be careful. You have to be careful too. Wang Xian chatted with Ling Honggu. Before long, the Spirit Demon King also came in. The group chatted for a while. Wang Xian did not stay at the Spirit Demon race for long. On the 4th day he returned. At this time he received a message from Lan Qingyue. This message was about the Starry Sky universe and the world passage. This message was sent to her by Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai. Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai were currently within the sea of the land of mountains and seas. This time the world passage was opened by the starry sky beast. Qingyue, how much information did Xiaolan send? Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace and asked Lan Qingyue. Little Blue and the others sent a message saying that a powerful astral beast in the Mountain Sea realm has opened up a huge passageway. This passageway leads to another universe, a universe where astral beasts are born. Many astral beasts have already entered that universe. Many starry sky beasts have already entered that universe, Lan Qingyue replied immediately. Chapter 37:14, Has it been opened? Wang Xian's eyes sparkled when he heard the message. Just as Black Vulture King had said, the resources of the Nine-Source universe had already been occupied by the top races. When the last cataclysm had just ended, the surviving top races had occupied all the treasures. As time passed, various races were born, but most of the treasures could still be easily obtained by the top races. 95% of the resources in the entire Nine-Source universe were concentrated in the hands of the top races. This was also the reason why the top races were so powerful. It was extremely difficult for the Dragon Palace to improve further. The opening of the Starry Universe passage was an opportunity for the Dragon Palace. Of course, it was also an opportunity for the experts of the other races in the Nine-Source universe. However, this fortuitous opportunity could be mixed with great danger. The Starry Universe was the universe where the starry beasts were born. Even the sovereigns had to be careful there. After all, they could not escape instantly, and many life-saving treasures were useless. If they died, they would really die. Prime Minister Turtle. Wang Xian came to the Dragon King Hall and transmitted his voice to Prime Minister Turtle. Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle flew over and cupped his hands respectfully. I have a message for you to accept. In addition, inform the Dragon Palace Universe Supremacy disciples about this and ask them to prepare. Wang Xian waved his arm, and a message from Black Vulture King entered Prime Minister Turtle's mind instantly. Prime Minister Turtle absorbed it and nodded immediately. We don't know much about the Starry Universe. As for entering the Starry Universe, let them decide for themselves. Wang Xian said as he sensed the soul fetal fruit on the progenitor tree. He hadn't used the soul returning embryo fruit recently? This also caused the number of soul fetal fruit in the Dragon Palace to reach more than 4,000. In addition, gather more than 2,000 other stronger disciples and let them enter as well. Everyone who enters will get one soul fetal fruit. Wang Xian continued to order. Yes, Dragon King. I will gather all the leaders and experts to discuss this immediately. Prime Minister Turtle said. There's no hurry. I think it will take some time to pass through the passage. Wang Xian said. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. This time? Wang Xian was going to order the experts of the Dragon Palace to go over. After reaching the pinnacle of the Venerable Realm, fighting and killing was a shortcut to breaking through. This was also the reason why there were so many experts heading to the Invincible Domain. Wang Xian switched on the Universe AI to take a look and realized that the message had not been sent out. And he's not anxious? He waited quietly. At the same time, he asked Lan Qingyue to keep an eye on the situation at Xiaolan's residence. Roar. Time passed day by day. A year passed in the blink of an eye. However, on this day, a world-shaking roar suddenly echoed out from the depths of the mountains and seas. This vast voice seemed to spread throughout the entire untainted continent. When Wang Xian heard this voice, he could vaguely sense something from this roar. He could feel a powerful pressure pressing down on him. His figure flickered, and he instantly flew above the Dragon Palace, looking down into the depths of the mountains and seas. What grade of star behemoth did that roar come from? This voice that carries such a powerful pressure. He murmured and looked in the direction of the ocean in shock. He stood in the void for a very long time, and when there was no second roar, he stopped. He returned to the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, half a year later, all the pinnacle races will make a statement on the Universe AI. The world passage to the Starry Universe will be opened. At that time, we will encourage the experts and disciples of the advanced races to explore. Dragon King, you can wait a few hundred years or 1,000 years before you enter. It might be dangerous to enter first. At this time, Black Vulture King sent a message. Wang Xian saw it and replied gratefully. Xiao Xian, Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai have entered the Starry Universe. Along with them are almost all the star behemoths in the mountains and seas. At this time, Lan Qingyue flew over and said to Wang Xian, Xiao Lan and Xiao Zhai have entered the Starry Universe? Then let them enter first. Qingyue, if there's any special information about the Starry Universe, tell Prime Minister Turtle and me immediately. We might enter the starry universe in half a year. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he spoke. All right. Lan Qingyue nodded. Xiao Zhai and Xiao Lan had the bloodline of the star behemoths. Since they were star behemoths, the starry universe was their home. With them taking the lead, it was undoubtedly great news for the Dragon Palace. At this moment in the universe's AI, due to this terrifying roar, the entire prehistoric continent was in an uproar. This roar spread far and wide within the primordial continent. Many experts and disciples heard it. Many experts and disciples discussed in shock. Half a year passed quickly. However, on this day, a sudden piece of news caused the entire chaotic continent, and even the entire nine-source universe, to be in an uproar. This news came from the pinnacle races. It came from more than one pinnacle race. Angels, demons, phoenix race, celestial tiger race, black tortoise race, fairy race, sorcerer race, skeleton race, sage race, underworld race, celestial nation and royal race. Currently, there were a total of 12 pinnacle races in the nine-source universe. These 12 pinnacle races released news one after another on the same day. Fairy race. In the depths of the Sea of Mountains, the passage between the nine-source universe and the starry universe has opened. The starry universe is the birthplace of the star behemoths. Countless resources and treasures are waiting to be explored. This is an opportunity for all races in the nine-source universe. Devil race. The cataclysm will arrive in a few billion years. If you do not wish to be exterminated, you must become stronger. The starry universe is the only way for all races to survive. Skeleton race. You are very lucky. Before the cataclysm, a passage has opened between the nine-source universe and the starry universe. There is a way to become stronger. Enter the star behemoths to seek opportunities. This is the only way to survive the cataclysm. Angel race. Those who enter the starry universe and break through to the sovereign realm can join our angel race. The angel race will be your strongest backer in the future cataclysm. Celestial tiger race. Sovereign realm experts can join our celestial tiger race. Our celestial tiger race will organize experts and disciples to enter the starry universe. Disciples with second-order sovereign combat power and above can join. Underworld race. You may die if you enter the starry universe. However, if you do not enter, you will definitely die in the cataclysm. Entering the starry universe is your only hope. The 12 pinnacle races released news at the same time on the AI. In an instant, the universe exploded. Chapter 37:15. The peak races didn't care about the matters of the higher races. They were already standing at the peak. Most of the resources in the Nine Essences universe were now under their control. The apex clans usually wouldn't fight with the advanced clans for some newly born treasures. It could be said that they did not care about anything outside of their own treasured land. The disciples of the peak clans all cultivated within their own clans. Even the warlike skeleton clan and the nether clan, who constantly slaughtered and devoured each other, were only fighting among themselves. They had no interest in high-level races at all. Now that the 12 pinnacle races had made a statement at the same time, it could be said that all the races were boiling with excitement. What does the apex races statement mean? The passageway between the Nine Essences universe and the Starry Sky universe has been opened, and we can enter the Starry Sky universe? There are other universes beyond us? Are we disciples of the Nine Essences universe? What's on the other side of the universe? Cataclysm? In the coming cataclysm, the peak-level races are saying that we have to become sovereign realm experts in order to survive? What is going on with the cataclysm? Sis, why do I feel chills running down my spine when I see the information of all the top races? When all the experts and disciples of the chaotic wasteland continent saw the message from the peak races, they felt a chill run down their spines. The Nether clan and the Skeleton clan had declared that if they wanted to survive the cataclysm, they would have to enter the Starry Sky universe. The Netherworld race even said that they might die if they entered the Starry universe, but if they didn't, they would definitely die when the cataclysm came. Furthermore, every peak-level race had revealed how terrifying the Measure Tribulation was. That was, without sufficient strength they would be exterminated. Regarding the cataclysm, even the high-level races did not know much about it. In addition, there were still billions of years before it would arrive, so not many powerhouses paid attention to it. But now, from the information provided by the top races, they knew how terrifying the cataclysm was. Billions of years were indeed very far away from them. However, no matter which advanced race it was, they immediately gathered all their powerhouses when they saw this message. 4 powerful high-level races, it was easy for them to survive for billions of years. There were even some top-grade races that could survive for tens of billions of years without a problem. Now that he saw the information of the apex races, they instantly tensed up. Which race would want to face extinction? No one wanted to be exterminated. There's no need for the experts of the peak races to plot against us. They should be telling the truth. I think we can go and take a look. That's right. There's no need for the peak races to lie to us. Any random sovereign realm expert from one of the peak races could wipe out all of us. There is a vague legend in the universe about the cataclysm. It is said that even the most powerful races may not be able to survive the cataclysm. But why would the peak races tell us about this? Do they want us to help them scout the way, or do they want experts to be born among us high-level races? It's possible. Maybe the power of our universe is stronger? It will be easier to resist the cataclysm. Some of the experts from the various races were discussing and guessing. There was no need for the peak races to lie to them. Moreover, it was not worth it to be deceived by the alliance of the 12 peak races. Secondly, from the information of the peak races, they also knew that the peak races had no ill intentions towards them. All the races and powers in the universe knew the strength of the apex races. They were on a completely different level from them. As long as one thought a little, they would know that the apex races wanted to give birth to more experts in the universe. And that was indeed the case. The ultimate goal of the various races was to increase the overall strength of the Nine Essences universe. The second reason was that he wanted them to scout the way. Exploring a vast universe, a universe where the astral beasts were born, would be difficult even for the apex races. This would require a large number of experts and disciples. And before the cataclysm arrived, the more experts in the Nine Essences universe, the better. Perhaps some experts could obtain great opportunities in the astral universe and become peak experts. This was not impossible. If there were really some experts with great luck, they might be able to reach the ruler realm in a few billion years. After all, that was an unexplored universe. An unknown universe, a universe full of dangers and opportunities. We have to go and take a look. We have to go. It's already very difficult for us to improve and achieve breakthroughs. Immediately, the experts and disciples of countless races prepared to head to the astral universe. They all knew that there might be dangers there, but at the same time the chances of obtaining opportunities were higher. Especially the old monsters from the invincible domain. When they received the news, they were extremely excited. Without any hesitation, they immediately flew towards the depths of the mountains and seas. The 12 peak races announced it at the same time. Looks like there will be many experts and disciples from the Nine Essences universe going there. In the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian's eyes lit up when he saw the news. The temptation of a new universe was something many experts could not resist. Especially those experts who had not achieved breakthroughs for a long time. They were prepared to go and seek opportunities. If they were lucky, they might soar to the sky. This was not impossible. Wang Xian looked ahead, his eyes shining. In front of him there was an array. Within this array there was a dynamic perspective. In front of the perspective there was a vast void. There were many huge planets and meteorites ahead. Some of the planets even had all kinds of vegetation growing on them, exuding strong vitality. However, there were no ordinary creatures on this planet. There were only a few special plants. This was the perspective of Xiaolan and the others. No matter where Xiaolan and the others went, Lan Qingyue could contact them and see what they saw. Xiaolan and the others had already entered the astral universe. Lan Qingyue had ordered them to explore this new universe. During this period of time, he saw some of the features of the astral universe and obtained some information. The resources in the astral universe were indeed rich. Dragon King, many experts from different races have already flown towards the depths of the mountains and seas. Even the peak races have sent a large number of experts and disciples over. Prime Minister Turtle stood at the side and said to Wang Xian, "We have to go, but be careful." Wang Xian nodded and said, "I'll head over to check out the situation first. Wait for me to inform the disciples before heading over." "Yes, Dragon King." Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Wang Xian gave some instructions before flying out of the Dragon Palace and towards the depths of the mountains and seas. The members of the Dragon Palace wanted to enter the astral universe, but they had to be careful of some experts. Experts from the angel race and the phoenix race. Chapter 37:16. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Wang Xian flew quickly above the sea. The depths of the mountain sea realm could be said to be one of the most dangerous places in the universe. This was the playground of the giant astral beasts and terrifying dire beasts. There were many terrifying existences here. It could be said that the number of terrifying dire beasts and giant astral beasts in the Mountain Sea realm was comparable to several peak races. This was a forbidden place for other experts. It was the playground of the giant astral beasts and dire beasts. However, at this moment, there were not many powerful marine creatures around. There was not even a shadow of the giant astral beast. Originally, the interior of the Mountain Sea realm would make one's heart palpitate. Now it had completely disappeared. Wang Xian flew inside. Occasionally he could see experts and disciples of other races flying deeper into the Mountain Sea realm. Clearly there were still many experts who wanted to go and take a look. After flying for a few days, Wang Xian suddenly felt the aura in front of him changing. It was a vast expanse and a savage aura rushed towards him. This aura was different from the Nine Origins universe. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and continued to fly forward. After flying for another day, towering mountains appeared before him. Each mountain stood in the middle of the sea, faintly emitting a powerful aura. The mountains were overgrown with trees and looked very ancient. At this moment he looked ahead with a shocked look in his eyes. As far as the eye could see, it was a very shocking and strange place. There was space within space as though two worlds were overlapping. Suddenly, another void appeared in the vast void, its surface area incomparably huge. At this moment, there were already countless experts and disciples gathered in the surroundings. A flying phoenix. A nether clan shrouded in darkness. A majestic divine tiger. A mysterious sorcerer shrouded in a bamboo hat. An angel flapping his wings. A celestial kingdom with an illusory palace above his head. A sage's disciple stepping on the clouds with a feather fan and books in hand. A black tortoise with a thick black shell. Groups of experts from peak races gathered at the entrance of this world. And around this entrance, there were many experts and disciples from high-level races from the chaotic continent. They looked at this scene in shock. Other than them, there was another eye-catching race in the center. Below that race there was a huge starry sky battleship. The entire starry sky battleship was the size of several stars. Countless aircrafts flew towards the unknown world. Wang Xian looked over with glistening eyes. He moved his body and approached the entrance. The passage between our cosmos and the starry sky cosmos has just opened, but even the experts of the peak races don't dare to enter. The starry sky universe is the birthplace of the giant beasts of the starry sky. If you enter it and suddenly encounter a terrifying giant beast of the starry sky, you won't even know how you die. The scientists of the technological world are currently analyzing the characteristics of the starry sky universe. The peak races are also waiting for their data. Let's not talk about other things. Some of the advanced technology in the technological world is indeed very powerful in terms of exploration. It's much safer than using disciples to explore. As Wang Xian approached, he could hear the conversations of a group of experts and disciples. Zhang Xian scanned the surroundings, but he didn't enter or get too close. Everyone was waiting, standing there quietly. The surrounding experts and disciples were constantly discussing. The peak races seemed to be waiting for some news. Days passed. 5 days later, a figure in a mecha flew out from the central battleship. My lords, the aircrafts of the technological world have penetrated tens of thousands of light years into the starry sky universe. According to our analysis, the metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, and darkness attributes are 20% less than those in the nine-source universe. The starry sky universe has a strong repulsive force against the beings in the nine-source universe, suppressing us by at least 3 levels. Other than that, we can already confirm that we can sense our god nation there, but we can't return to it instantly. In addition, we didn't find any danger in the surroundings. The universe AI can't be used. The starry sky universe contains energy that our nine-source universe doesn't have. Our robots found some fruits, and after our analysis, we found that many of them are extremely useful for the physical body. The special energy is extremely beneficial to the beings in the nine-source universe. In addition, the resources there are indeed more abundant. Many of the divine fruits with attributes have not been devoured by the giant beasts of the starry sky universe. They might not be to their liking. The mecha from the technological world reported to the experts of the peak races. His voice spread out, and all the experts and disciples in the area could hear him clearly. 3 levels of suppression? That's way too powerful. Experts of the peak races can't fight those of a higher level than them. Even the battle prowess of us high-ranking races will be suppressed by 1 level. We can't return to our god nation instantly. The danger is much greater and the mortality rate will be very high. But the scientists from the technological world also said that the resources there are very abundant. There are many fruits that can improve the physical body, and there are even many attributes. The experts and disciples of the high-ranking races discussed in shock. Some of the experts were nervous and afraid. Not being able to return to their god nations was too dangerous. Disciples of the sorcerer tribe, we will explore new worlds and come into contact with new knowledge. We will not shirk this responsibility. An old man with an incomparably pale face, dressed in black sorcerer attire, said calmly from the sorcerer tribe. His figure flickered and he instantly disappeared. Behind him, the sorcerers didn't hesitate at all. They stepped into the starry sky. The sorcerer tribe had tens of thousands of sorcerers who entered. The sorcerer tribe had very few members to begin with. Having tens of thousands of sorcerers entering was already a lot. Wang Xian could vaguely sense that the sorcerer who entered first should be a third or fourth order universe lord. At present, the information of the starry sky was still unclear. Clearly the experts who entered first were not very strong. Celestial Nation, let's go. Over at the Celestial Nation's side, a bald old man with a huge Buddha figure above his head let out a soft cry and also flew inside. From the Celestial Nation, hundreds of thousands of experts and disciples entered. One by one the peak races entered. However, each peak race left some experts at the entrance. They hovered there, as though they were waiting for the return of their clansmen, and also for the transmission of information. Hee, I can feel the aura of the divine dragon. Hee. At this moment, from the angel tribe, an extraordinarily handsome 12-winged angel stood at the front. He slowly looked in Wang Xian's direction. Chapter 37:17. Ha! Wang Xian, who was watching, suddenly felt his heart tighten. His expression changed and he looked over immediately. Their eyes met. Wang Xian looked at the 12-winged angel. A very handsome 12-winged angel. He stood there and stared at Wang Xian calmly. He wore a long white robe with the word 3 carved on it. The third prince of the Radiant Angel clan. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes narrowed. The third prince looked at him quietly before turning to his side. Keep an eye on all the members of the Dragon Palace. Once any divine dragon bloodline enters, lock on and kill them. I don't want any disciple of the Dragon Palace to survive after entering the Starry Universe. He looked at a burly battle angel beside him and ordered, Yes, Your Highness. Leave a Dragon King to me. The burly 12-winged angel nodded and looked at Wang Xian. The third prince is so powerful that he can kill me in a second. That burly angel's strength is also very terrifying. He can also easily kill me. Wang Xian stood there and his expression changed slightly. Wang Xian estimated the third prince's strength to be above the 5th Order Universe Sovereign Realm. He might even be above the 7th or 8th Order Universe Sovereign Realm. The angel who was staring at him was also very powerful. Indeed, the third prince still wants to kill me. I reckon the moment I enter, the experts of the angel clan will come for me. Wang Xian knitted his eyebrows slightly and pondered deeply. The angel clan could not attack him here, but they could in the Starry Universe. The Starry Universe was an unknown treasure trove. Although there were dangers, it could allow an expert to soar. According to the thinking of an expert, the third prince would never allow the experts of the Dragon Palace to seek opportunities in the Starry Universe. It was highly likely that he would let them enter and then kill them. If I enter now, I can still escape their lock on me. Wang Xian thought to himself. He had an escape scroll in his hand and could escape instantly. Although this instant escape was a little random, it was also a life-saving treasure and could be used 3 times. He could use the Mother Nest to lead the experts of the Dragon Palace into the Starry Universe and escape. Go. As he thought about it, he moved and disappeared in an instant. Third Prince, take this to prevent the Divine Dragon Bloodline Possessor from being taken away from the living space. When Wang Xian disappeared, Qingjiang Aqua Phoenix, who was standing beside the angels, fixed her gaze on the third prince. In front of the third prince, a statue of a dragon head appeared. Seeing the statue, the third prince smiled and nodded calmly. This was to prevent other experts' disciples from leaving with the Dragon Palace's experts in their life spaces. Once there was, the third prince would be able to sense it through the dragon head. At that time, the third prince could either directly send someone or follow them personally. A puny Dragon Palace wants to fight with me. The third prince sneered with a cold look on his face. Once he took action personally, he could easily crush the small Dragon Palace. Buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian had returned to the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King Hall. He was deep in thought. Enlai! He shouted, but there was no response. Then he sensed the Dragon Palace, took out the Universe AI and sent a message to Enlai. Dragon King, you called for me? Soon Enlai appeared. At this moment he seemed to be in high spirits. Wang Xian sized Enlai up and was surprised. Enlai, you've gotten stronger? Yes, Dragon King. Dragon King, I can cultivate in the Void Pagoda. Moreover, the Star Pagoda in the Invincible Domain is one of the top Void Pagodas. There aren't many of them in the entire Void universe. After some research, I discovered other functions which boosted my strength tremendously. Enlai said excitedly. The Void Pagoda in the Invincible Domain was definitely a top-notch treasure in the Void universe. More importantly, this treasure wasn't an ordinary inborn treasure, but a terrifying war machine. There weren't many of them in the entire Void universe. Now that such a powerful treasure was occupied by Enlai alone, the energy inside had boosted his strength tremendously. Is that so? Enlai, how far can you teleport now? Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he asked in anticipation. If Enlai could teleport far away, he could send Enlai over first and then bring them over. In terms of teleportation distance, I can teleport from one side of the Eternal River to the center. Enlai said. At this distance? Upon hearing this, Wang Xian frowned slightly. This distance wasn't very safe. The area that the technology world had investigated was about the size of the entire Eternal River. Once Enlai teleported over with the technology of the technology world, they would be able to find some clues. Now, Wang Xian could confirm that Enlai's ability belonged to the Void royal family's teleportation ability in the Void universe. Once discovered, it would be very troublesome. Dragon King, I can perform some simple control of the Void Pagoda now. If I control the Void Pagoda, the teleportation distance can be increased by 10 times. At this moment, Enlai added. Is that so? Wang Xian's eyes lit up and revealed a tinge of excitement. Let's go, follow me. He moved and immediately flew towards the depths of the mountain sea land with Enlai. When they were still a very long distance away from the entrance of the world, he stopped. After scanning the surroundings and confirming that there were no experts around, Wang Xian gestured to Enlai. Summon the Void Pagoda over. He said. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. In the next moment, a huge Void Pagoda appeared in front of him. Dragon King, let's go in. Enlai said to him as he brought him to the control position of the Void Pagoda, the Void Throne. Dragon King, when I sit on the Void Throne, my abilities can be enhanced to a terrifying extent. Under the condition of sensing space, I can sense a large number of experts gathering in front of me. I can also sense the starry universe and can extend it very far. Enlai sat on the Void Throne and said to Wang Xian. Very good. You can teleport to the limits of the Void Pagoda immediately and enter the starry universe. Won't you be discovered? Wang Xian asked. No experts from the Void Pagoda can be discovered at the entrance of the starry universe. As Enlai spoke, he used the power of the Void Pagoda to sense quickly. In the next moment they disappeared. Chapter 37:18. 1. In an unfamiliar space, a dark void tower appeared out of thin air. Not far away there was a star that contained boundless life force. On top of the star there was a large amount of vegetation. This place seems to be very far from the universe passage. Wang Xian stood beside Enlai and looked at the monitor. He was shocked when he scanned the surroundings. Wang Xian knew that this was where Xiaolan and the rest had gone. Xiaolan and the others had to fly for a day to reach this distance. One could imagine how far this distance was. Yes, Dragon King. We are already very far away from here. Enlai stood up and nodded. All right. Enlai, contact Prime Minister Turtle immediately and bring the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace here. As for how they will act, let them decide. In addition, tell them to be careful of the experts of the Phoenix Clan and the Angel Clan. Once they encounter them, escape immediately. Once they encounter them, escape immediately. Yes, Dragon King. Enlai nodded. Keep in touch with all the disciples who entered the Starry Sky universe. In addition, Enlai, you have to be careful. Don't let the experts of the pinnacle races know about your ability. It's best not to let the Void Pagoda be discovered. Wang Xian thought for a while and continued to instruct. Enlai's ability was the same as the Void royalty in the Void universe. It was best not to let the other pinnacle races know about it. Yes. Enlai nodded. I'll leave this place to you. I'll go take a look around. Wang Xian said and gestured to Enlai. In the next moment he appeared outside. Now that Enlai's strength had improved, he was a big trump card for the Dragon Palace. Now he could kill a first-order sovereign in an instant. When he came outside, Wang Xian instantly felt that his strength was suppressed. His original ability to fight above his level was suppressed by 3 levels. However, if the experts from the pinnacle races of the Nine-Source universe came in, Wang Xian's strength would also be comparable to a second-order sovereign. After all, their strength was also suppressed. However, if he were to face a powerful giant beast of the Starry Sky universe, he might not be able to do so. A stellar beast at the pinnacle of the Venerable Realm was already strong enough to fight against Wang Xian. Of course, because of Wang Xian's speed, companion spirits, and Dark Ghost's doppelganger, Wang Xian's strength was almost invincible among second-order sovereigns. Even Khanate cardinal treasures are suppressed. This suppressive power is really strong. It seems like it would be best not to provoke the galactic beasts of the Starry Sky universe. Wang Xian murmured. Lan Lil Mansion, and the others followed the Star Behemoth experts and flew deeper into the depths of the Starry River. Wang Xian was only familiar with the surroundings of their route and was not familiar with other places. He still needed to explore everything by himself. In addition, the universe AI could no longer be used in the Starry Sky universe. If they wanted to communicate, they needed to use the communication stone plate. Wuxia had created a communication stone plate that belonged to the Dragon Palace. The disciples of the Dragon Palace in the universe could communicate with each other through the stone plate. Let's go take a look at that planet. Wang Xian moved his body and approached the planet rapidly. His dragon eyes scanned the planet continuously as his eyes glowed with radiance. This planet, Wang Xian flew over and immediately sensed waves of majestic energy coming from above. He moved and immediately flew over. There are treasures. He moved and immediately came to the top of the planet. Using his energy to sense, he instantly arrived at the ocean of the planet. In his sight, he saw a special blood-red vine growing in the deepest part of the ocean. These vines contained rich water attribute energy. Wang Xian entered the ocean and waved his arm to pull the entire vine up. Using his hand to sense it, he was a little excited. This treasure contains very high energy. It is comparable to a monarch-level divine grass and divine fruit, he murmured. He mumbled to himself. Any random planet had such a treasure. There should be countless of such planets in the universe. Wouldn't it be crazy if there were such treasures every week? There is also something very strange. The entire planet is so full of life, but there are no living creatures. Wang Xian murmured. He felt that this might have something to do with the characteristics of the universe. If it were a 9-origin planet, a planet might give birth to life in a few million years or even less. Another thing was that the star behemoths of the Starry Sky universe contained special energy in their bodies. Take Lan Lil Mansion and the others for example. The energy in their bodies did not belong to any attribute. They also relied on devouring other living creatures to improve. On the contrary, they did not like such divine grass and divine fruit. Wang Xian's eyes flickered slightly. He kept the vine and continued to search the planet. Soon he found a lot of resources that were useful for cultivation. Apart from these, he also found some special fruits. These fruits did not have 9 attributes. Instead, they contained a special type of energy. Wang Xian took out the one with the smallest energy. After hesitating for a moment, he swallowed it. After entering his stomach, the fruit was digested quickly. A special energy entered his body. This energy was very strange. It could modify the physical body. The energy could strengthen the physical body. These fruits are also useful, but the effects are minimal. These should be the fruits that the star behemoths like to eat. Wang Xian murmured. This Starry Sky universe is a huge treasure to the 9-origin universe. I can now guess why the cataclysm is so tragic. He guessed. The arrival of the cataclysm and the opening of the universe passage meant that one could enter another universe. This also created a problem. That was, things that were common and useless in one universe were huge treasures in another universe. This would naturally lead to fights. And the treasures of another universe were even more precious to the other universe. Hence, there would be fights over them. Over time, when the cataclysm arrived, there would be killings. Of course, this was just Wang Xian's guess. The cataclysm was so tragic. This might only be one of the reasons. There should be other aspects. Continue to explore. If I can find 100,000 of these planets, I will be able to break through. As Wang Xian spoke, he looked in a direction. With a swift move, he flew over immediately. Compared to the 9-origin universe, 10,000 planets was just a drop in the ocean. In the Starry Sky universe, there would definitely be many. He felt that it should not be difficult. Given the resources on a planet, 100,000 would be enough for him to break through. His eyes were filled with excitement as he quickly disappeared into the starry sky. And the experts who had entered the pinnacle of the starry sky universe soon saw the vast resources. Chapter 37:19. So many resources. There are actually so many resources and treasures on a single planet? The sorcerer clan's powerhouses were the first to enter the universe. They floated above a planet, their eyes blazing. Just one planet had so many resources. In the universe, a planet was just a drop in the ocean. From this, it could be seen that the starry sky universe definitely possessed an enormous amount of resources. The other peak races soon received the news. They used their communication compasses to immediately send out the news. With so many resources and treasures, it was enough for them to take the risk. The experts who have entered have sent news that there are large amounts of resources in the starry sky universe. The resources of a single planet are comparable to the collection of a weak high-level race. You can take the risk and enter. Before entering, each of you will be given a communication stone plate. You can send messages through this stone plate. In addition, if you discover a treasure and there are giant astral beasts guarding the surroundings, you can tell this information to any of the peak clans. If the treasure is obtained, the discoverer will receive 5% of the resources. Or perhaps it's a treasure that you're satisfied with. Don't worry, we're a group of peak clans and we won't kill for some treasures. On the side of the sorcerer clan, there were still a few powerful sorcerers who did not enter. When they got the news, they glanced around and said directly. This time, none of the peak-tier races hid anything from the advanced races. There were two reasons for this. The first was that the starry sky universe was a complete and powerful universe with a very large surface area. It was not something that peak races like them could explore in a short period of time. The second reason was that the disciples of the other high-ranking races would be able to bring back some information and find more treasure troves. In addition, they were very weak. The treasures that they could get their hands on were not even worth the attention of the peak-level races. If they couldn't get their hands on some precious treasures, they could report it to their peak races. It was a win-win situation. Are there really many treasures? I'll say it again. There's no need for the lords of the peak races to lie to us. If they want to find laborers, they can totally enslave us. Come, let's go in. Let's go in. Some experts pondered for a moment and immediately entered the starry sky universe. Soon more and more experts entered. All the strong disciples knew that only by entering this place would they be able to obtain great opportunities. Only then would they have the opportunity to set foot on the peak of the universe. Wang Xian had no idea where the entrance to the starry sky universe was. At this moment, Wang Xian was flying rapidly in the void. At this moment, all the experts and disciples of Dragon Palace had arrived. They flew in all directions of the starry sky. I can't be too fast. I have to be vigilant of my surroundings. If I run into a powerful astral beast, my strength will be suppressed and I will be in danger. Wang Xian thought to himself as he scanned his surroundings. There's a planet there. After flying for a few hours, a habitable planet appeared in Wang Xian's vision. His figure moved and he arrived at the planet's surroundings, carefully looking at it. This planet was similar to the previous one with forests, oceans, mountains and grasslands. Something's wrong. Those branches are moving again, moving on their own even though there's no wind. But soon Wang Xian noticed the high mountains of the planet. The tall mountains were exceptionally eye-catching, towering into the clouds. On top of the mountains there were a bunch of special plants. The plants were gray and at the top of a high mountain, there was a branch swaying. This branch was alive. It seems that some planets still have life. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he sized up the branch. He discovered that this branch was actually connected to all the branches of the surrounding mountains. In addition, he also discovered a problem. The resources on this planet were not as abundant as the ones he had encountered last time. Not even half of it. Interesting. I can't sense the strength of this branch, but I can test it out. Wang Xian thought to himself. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand, and he swung it down at the branch. Swish, 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 swish. The branch seemed to have sensed some threat and aimed at the 5 elements grindstone. Swish, swish, swish. When the 5 elements grindstone approached, countless densely packed branches suddenly shot up into the sky and attacked the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian was taken aback. With a wave of his hand, a wave of energy landed on the 5 elements grindstone. An azure dragon emerged from the grindstone and attacked the branches. Swish, swish, swish. However, at the next moment, something that shocked Wang Xian happened. The branches on the high mountains of the planet shook rapidly. Subsequently, Wang Xian realized that the entire planet was shaking as well. It was as though a horrifying earthquake had struck. Following which, countless branches extended from the planet. The densely packed branches were extremely horrifying. A horrifying existence that had taken root on the planet. What's going on? Is this a galactic beast? A wood elemental galactic beast? Is he resting here? Or did this planet nurture this galactic beast? Wang Xian was extremely shocked. However, these countless branches did not give him any sense of threat. Destroy it. He swung his arm and transformed it into a flaming dragon claw. A terrifying flaming dragon claw slashed down. Crackle. Rumble. Following which, intense sounds of attacks could be heard. Tsk tsk tsk. The countless branches also let out a creepy sound. 5 elements obliteration, die. This humongous branch only possessed the combat strength of a pinnacle supremacy. It was much weaker than Wang Xian. A wave of annihilation energy swept over, and the branches lost their vitality in an instant. Boom boom boom. The branches seemed to be in despair as they shook violently. The entire planet also shook violently and cracked open gradually. The planet had collapsed. At the center of the cracked planet, a surge of powerful energy could be felt. At the core of the planet, a ball of green energy was condensed. The energy was filled with vitality and other unique auras. It was mainly wood elemental with other unique energies mixed in. What's this? Wang Xian was shocked. He felt that this energy would be extremely beneficial to his cultivation. Could it be that the branch is a galactic beast that was born on this planet? Most of the energy and resources of the entire planet were absorbed by this galactic beast cub? The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. The entire planet was like a mother's fetus that was nurturing a powerful and horrifying life. This was also the reason why the galactic beast had such a huge body size and did not need a god nation. If that's the case, I have to be more careful, Wang Xian thought to himself. Chapter 37:20. The core of the entire vine contained boundless energy. Wang Xian put it in his hand and sensed the energy. He smiled. The essence of the giant galactic beast was concentrated in his body. After absorbing it, it would be of great use to cultivators in the Nine Origins universe. The harvest this time was no less than the previous time. After he put it away, he glanced around and flew in a certain direction. Before long, Wang Xian found another planet with life. It had only been a few hours. The planet with life exuded a surging power of fire. He flew over and immediately found a huge volcano in the center of the planet. There was a special metal around the entire volcano. Wang Xian sensed carefully and landed beside the volcano after finding no signs of life. Fire-type godstones are perfect for crafting spirit treasures. Even in the Nine Essences universe, they would be considered precious treasures. Wang Xian looked at the metal, his eyes shining. In the starry universe, other than some special giant galactic beast who fed on this metal or was rarely consumed. This was not like the Nine Origins universe, where weapons were also a part of one's strength. Basically, every expert had several weapons. However, the giant galactic beasts did not use weapons, which resulted in a lot of metal ores here. Metal ores that were fought over in the Nine Origins universe could be found everywhere here. TSK, the resources in the Star universe are really rich. Wang Xian sighed as he kept all the metals. Following which, he began to search the entire planet. After collecting a large number of divine herbs, elixir pills and metal, Wang Xian continued to the next planet. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before he could gather all the resources he needed to level up. While flying in the void, Wang Xian suddenly heard a roar. He looked over and his face turned solemn. Without any hesitation, Wang Xian immediately changed his direction and flew in another direction. At this time, there was no need to offend these giant galactic beasts. After a while, a vibrant continent appeared in his sight. Floating in the void, there was an incomparably lush forest on top of the plate. Wang Xian entered and began to search for treasures. For the next month, Wang Xian continued to fly in the starry universe. Once he sensed the aura of the giant galactic beast, he would hide immediately. Over the past month, Wang Xian had also discovered that there were quite a number of galactic beasts in the starry sky universe. As they flew, they encountered giant star beasts every day, both strong and weak. For the time being, Wang Xian did not provoke them. In this short month, he had obtained a large number of treasures and found more than 100 habitable planets. Every habitable planet had a bountiful harvest. Even at this rate, I'll only need about 1,000 years to gather enough resources for a breakthrough. With a smile on his face, Wang Xian continued flying forward with his eyes fixed ahead. Another habitable planet. Soon Wang Xian saw a planet. This planet was 4 to 5 times larger than the one he had seen previously. What's that? Before he could get close, a wave of dense energy came over. He stared at the position above the planet with a look of shock in his eyes. It was an extremely thick tree. The tree wasn't very tall, but it covered an area of at least tens of thousands of kilometers. On this tree there was a fruit. The fruit was over 1,000 kilometers in size. This was the largest fruit Wang Xian had ever seen. Most importantly, there was a strong attraction coming from this fruit. This fruit is huge. It contains a lot of energy. Wang Xian was slightly shocked. He scanned the surroundings and did not sense any other life aura. It was floating above the fruit. Compared to the entire fruit, he looked incomparably tiny. The energy it contains. This fruit is extraordinary. Wang Xian's eyes were burning with passion. Just this fruit alone was 10 times more than what he had obtained in the past month. This starry universe is really full of treasures. As Wang Xian spoke, he slowly landed on the fruit. When his body landed on the fruit, he suddenly felt the sky turning dark. A white light, like a cloud, instantly enveloped him. The sudden change shocked Wang Xian. In the next moment he felt something horrifying coming from below him. A pair of humongous eyes suddenly appeared on the left and right of the fruit. This pair of eyes was extremely tragic and contained a strange energy. Oh no, this entire planet is a giant star beast. Wang Xian felt the horrifying aura of this giant star beast and his expression changed drastically. Without any hesitation he wanted to escape far away. However, at this moment Wang Xian strangely realized that the surrounding white cloud suddenly surged into his body. An extremely heavy force came over. He felt as if his body was being crushed by an endless mountain, causing his speed to drop to the limit. What kind of giant star beast is this? Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. Without any hesitation, a scroll appeared in his palm. He opened the scroll and a wave of energy shrouded him. The giant star beast below seemed to have sensed something as a huge cloud shrouded him from its eyes. Fortunately, in the next instant, Wang Xian's figure disappeared. The surrounding scenery changed. Wang Xian realized that he was surrounded by fiery red meteorites. Each meteorite carried a strong force as it flew in the void. Huff huff. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He looked at his own body, which still felt extremely heavy. What kind of giant star beast is this? Such a strange attack. If I had run a little slower, I would have been left there. Wang Xian murmured with lingering fear. The danger was really high. There are many treasures in the starry sky universe, but it is also very dangerous. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. If he did not have a treasure like the space scroll, he would have died for sure. One should know that his current strength was comparable to a second-order universe lord. Seems like I have to let the dark ghost doppelganger explore next time. This way the safety will be greatly improved. Wang Xian murmured. He had been a little careless. Looking around, Wang Xian sent a message through the communication stone plate of the Dragon Palace, reminding all the disciples of the Dragon Palace to be careful. Continue. After sending the message, Wang Xian cleaned up the strange energy in his body. He looked around and flew in a direction. With the space scroll's random teleportation, he had no idea how far he was from where he was just now. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.